Yo, welcome to the next episode of Penspinning Podcast. Today I'm with a Spanish Penspinner, RPD,
Hello.
and we're gonna talk about World Cup because, as you know, round one results are out. And what do you think about those results? Do you agree
Well,
with all of them?
I think they were fine. There were some differences between various judges, but that's something to be expected.
Yeah, like the biggest difference was, I guess, this Ultimate Rookies team.
I think they were quite a few differences. Let me take out the results because, for example, I remember I ranked this PSH team very low, like Ninjon. I ranked it
Oh yeah,
11th, and everyone put it in the top 8. So
yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
yeah,
That's
and,
why
and
there are
on, on
just
on
five
the
of
other
you.
side, for example, Kerens put Ricefield on the first position,
Wow,
which was interesting. Well,
it
I think
was.
Kerens' results have been the most criticized, the workshop at least.
I
But I don't
mean,
think they are incorrect. They are too
he
low.
just didn't write that much though, so we don't understand how really he was thinking.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Yeah. So yeah, after this break, let's go with this FPSBY and UPSB once
Yeah.
again, I guess.
So the second controversy on this round has been the tie between FPSBY and UPSB. Because how these scores were done and how the final ranking was done is that each judge gave a ranking of all the collaborations, and the rank was considered as points. So you sum all those points, and the more points you have, the worse, because it means that you have been ranked lower more times, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that there can be a tie in those points, and it happened only once between UPSB and FPSBY, with both had 51 points. So it was unnoticed at first by Titus, the organizer, and he just released the results passing UPSB without actually consulting the judges. So that was like the second controversy. It has been solved now. It has been solved, but with more controversy, of course, because this is World Cup,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we only have to to have a lot of controversy. So
Like
maybe
UPSB
to
passed,
continue
right?
talk, yeah, UPSB passed, and the thing was that we had to choose a tiebreaker for solving this, and there were like three main options. We could either choose a team that was placed higher the most times, which is a
Yeah.
very nice tiebreaker because there can't be any further ties because there are an uneven number of judges.
Yeah,
And
and
in
it was
that
the same
tiebreaker,
in World Tournament.
yeah, I think it was that way in other tournaments. Isaac told me so. And if that was going to be chosen, FPSBY would pass.
Oh,
There
wow.
was another tiebreaker, which was choosing the team that was placed in top 8 more times, which in that
Oh, okay.
case it would be UPSV because he was placed in top 8 by Tigres and Isaac, and I placed FPSBY on the top 8, while Dark AT and Herens placed neither of those teams in the top 8. And the third option was that to just redo the voting again. So we ended up doing that because it was what is written in the rulebook. So we
Oh,
had to go
okay.
with it. So I expected to be just like the first option. Like I thought that people were just going to vote for the team that they voted on the original scores, but one judge changed his mind, and it ended up making UPSV to win this tie. So that was like the second controversy with all this, with all of this.
Yeah, like it's just round one and so much drama.
It's always like that.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of the charm of these tournaments, I think, is to
Yeah,
just
guess
have
so.
these stories and this everything. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a pen spinning world tournament.
Yeah, each competition has to have its own drama.
I think so. And it's
Yeah.
like they were telling us in the workshop Discord that this is very unprofessional and that nobody is going to take these tournaments seriously after this. And kinda, but this has been this way for a long time. And even though we are really working hard into making this as good as possible and as consistent and as professional as possible, there's so many things that can go wrong, and if only one of those go wrong, it's like the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
it's
Like-
so complicated to actually get everything right.
Like we're still learning though, and this organizing committee is not professional organizer stuff, but
Yeah.
they're just spinners from boards who are learning all the time.
Exactly. And in the end, like, this is not our job. We are just doing this for fun, and we are putting a lot
True,
of
though.
time. So, like, we can't expect it to be perfect because we are not winning a lot of money. Like, this tournament has free entry. The prizes are even just put from the organizers from their own pockets. So, we can only expect to have good intentions, and I think that all these conflicts are solved with the best intentions possible. I think that nobody here wants to be shady, and I don't think it has been solved in a particularly bad way.
Yeah, like still it was pretty transparent, and I guess the more we organize, the better we'll be, and the more professional will those tournaments become.
Yeah, for example, I think that this tournament was better than old ones in the sense that the results were at time.
Man,
Many
like
times.
I was shocked.
Yeah, and I was the last one actually to submit these scores, and I felt
Still
so
on
bad.
time.
Yeah, still on time, but I was the last one. But
But
it
man,
could have
like,
been like 1 day earlier, I think, around 1 day earlier.
Man, still like in World Tournament we had stuff like 2 or 3 days delay.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that schedules get so messed up because you have to give like very specific time frames for people to prepare their combos and for judges to judge. So a 2 day delay is a 2 day delay in the whole tournament. So you have to change the whole schedule.
Yeah, it is. And the problem is that we can't really punish those judges because if we would like to, then we would have to tell them in advance that there's a punishment for sending late.
Yeah.
And if there was, nobody would volunteer to judge.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the
they're
end, we're
doing
not
this
getting
for free.
anything from this. Yeah. Like, I think that volunteering to judge a tournament like this is only going to get you in trouble most of the time because very little people actually appreciate what you're doing.
You'll just get burned anyway.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time and people just don't appreciate it. Like, for example, I wrote all those comments, and I think that maybe the people in that team read those comments, and I don't think anybody else really read them. I know of a few people, but it's not like you are making something that many people are listening to or reading and are thankful for, right? And since you're very critic, you are just like, and people spend a lot of time preparing their combos. So if you're very critic and they take it in a bad way, you can actually like hurt someone, or it's very complicated. So what I mean is that judging a tournament like this is only going to get you in trouble most of the time. So actually putting more punishments on top of that is a very bad idea.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I guess like the spinners read their comments, and the feedback from judges is actually really valuable.
I think so. But I don't know. It's not the most thanked work that you can do in the pen spinning community.
Yeah, it is. I mean, okay, sometimes I'm shitting on judges also because after seeing this World Tournament 19 round 1, I was like, okay, man. Eagle was at least drunk. So yeah, and actually I judged like 3 tournaments and haven't really heard that much complaint into my judging though. But I was pretty, I heard that I'm too harsh by giving like out of 40 points, 15 was the maximum, I guess.
Yeah, I had a problem with that when giving my scores because like I was giving very high collaboration scores in the atmosphere and transition and everything, and very critic scores in difficulty, execution, and everything. So the problem was well edited collaborations were just at the top. Like Ricefield was number 2, Archix was like number 4 or something. Like
did you really like Archix edit?
Sorry?
Did you like the Archix edit?
I thought it was fine. Like it fit with the combos and everything. I think it flowed nicely.
Yeah, but it was template-ish, and for sure it was a template.
Yeah, but there are templates and templates.
I get it.
I don't mind a template if it fits, and there are many templates that just don't flow together. For example, the Polish team. I know you're there, but I thought that edit didn't really flow together. And on the other side, for example, UPSV edit, I know that wasn't a template. And I know that Padres like really put a lot of effort into that, and it still didn't flow together. And on the other side, Archix was a template, but it was fine. It was fine to see, I think.
I mean, my first impression was like, I've seen these templates thousands of times before. This kind of template.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like, if you say it for like 100,000th time, then you're just sick of this. So for me, Archix is one of worst edits actually, but yeah, this is the problem. Like everyone has different taste, and I would put Archix edit in like last place, and you would like say it's pretty good. And
yeah, the problem is that, for example, the criteria for the edit are not creativity. Like it is transition, theme, coherence, and atmosphere. So, for example, in Archix, transitions were fine. So that's like almost full score.
Man, yeah.
You can, for example, you could deduct from theme, right? You could say that the theme is overused. It's not creative, so it's a 0.
Yeah.
Coherence, I mean, it was coherent, so it's a 2. Atmosphere, it was nice. It flowed nicely, so it was a 2. So it's a 6 out of 8. That's better than most edits.
Actually, okay, so just criteria as well are messed up.
Yeah, but you have to put numbers onto all of those things. You can just...
Yeah. So,
I actually was reading like some very old documents about... I think it was... Because since I have been doing this book, I am reading very old documents about how to organize tournaments. And there was a lot of discussion when Crash organized the first World Tournament. And they were saying, how should judges judge, actually? So should they give a numerical score, or should they just give an explanation and say, this is how it should be? Or should participants actually submit breakdowns of their combos so judges have an easier time analyzing them?
I can see this being overused. And also because you can actually break down one link in several ways, and you can take an easy breakdown and change the words used in this breakdown so it sounds weird and smart.
Yeah, and just like, I really like notation, and I mean, of course, I have written a whole book about it, but I think that it's not suitable for this. I mean, there are many more things that come into play in a World Tournament, and especially with the new criteria. Because, for example, in this round, you had 10 points for difficulty, But then there are another 10 for execution, another 10 for originality, another 5 for construction, another 5 for effectiveness, which are very abstract criteria, right? All of them.
Yeah,
So
they are.
if you give a breakdown, I can give you the rating for difficulty maybe and originality maybe.
Maybe,
Just
yeah.
maybe. Because I wouldn't even say so. Because even the way that you execute a trick, for example, in Patchwork's combo, like if you wrote the breakdown of that combo, it would be not the most complicated, but actually the way he did it, it was very creative and very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with Oh Yeah, for example. Like his one pen, one hand combos are not extremely difficult in their breakdown, but the way he does it, how he changed the planes of rotation, how the hand motions complement all the spinning, all of that comes into difficulty, all of that comes into originality. So you can't just write a breakdown and say this is the combo I have done.
True.
But on that discussion, they were also saying that should we actually give numerical scores? And I think that we kind of have these forgiven right now. Like, yeah, judges have to give numerical scores, but maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just ignore all of these criteria and just give who wins and who loses by feel.
Do you think that by feel is a good way to judge this kind of tournaments?
There was a problem, for example, with giving scores, and is that when I compiled all my scores for all the collaborations, there were very small margins between a few collabs. So, for example, the two Japanese teams were very high up. They were all on 44 points.
Yeah.
Then you had W, X, Ricefield, Old 8, Y. All of them had like 1 point difference. Like from W to Y, there was 1.5 points of difference.
Okay.
60. So it's just such a small margin that if you give a few combos a 9 instead of an 8, then you just have moved Ricefield from number 5 to number 3.
Yeah.
And your precision when giving all these scores is not that high. I tried to be consistent when giving them, but sometimes you give an 8 to a 9 combo, and sometimes you give a 7 to a 5. Like that happens, and when the margins are so tight, that actually messes things up a lot. For example, X and Ricefield were 0.01 points of difference.
Wow. Okay.
0.01 is just changing 1 point in one of the criteria on one of the combos. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
that was basically random. Like Ricefield and X were basically tied in my scores. So that's a problem. And I think that when you give scores by feel, you have more clear that no, X was better than Ricefield, or Ricefield was better than X. But
I don't think so. It's when you're giving by feel, it's about the general impression, the edit, the setup, and the execution. And when you're giving those points, you actually analyze in detail every aspect. Like in World Tournaments, this execution criteria was actually split into control, refinement, tempo.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes I felt like one combo is better than the other. But then I analyzed every aspect, like, okay, control, this and this. Okay, refinement. Okay, integration. Okay, effect. And then actually, the combo I felt it's weaker turned out to be better in case of those criteria.
I see.
And
that sometimes happens, but the problem with that, for example, is that in this case we gave 10 points to difficulty, execution, originality, and 5 points to construction effectiveness, but all these points are kind of random, so you could give different ponderations for all of these criteria and it would still be reasonable.
It might be a problem.
Very different results.
If you're having like 16 combos at once, it might be a problem because it works in like 1 versus 1, because you can judge difficulty from one combo, then difficulty of the other, and be consistent among those two.
Yes.
And you are consistent in one battle, and if in the other battle you are not consistent with the previous one, but you are consistent inside the battle, then it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a problem with this round because I had to be consistent with 100 combos, which was very complicated. But still, I mean, I don't know, because, for example, if you watch two combos and you feel that one is better than the other, but then you analyze them more in detail and you start giving a lot of points, and then the one that you thought was less good actually ends up winning, like, you have to think about, why is that? Is it that I wasn't able to appreciate the combo that ended up winning, or is it that the criteria are flawed, or like, there are many questions that you can ask once that happens, and I think that it happens a lot.
Because
for example,
are too vague. They're too general.
Yeah, they are too general, and still more, as you said, I think, more specific than just giving points by feel or just a rating by feel.
Yeah, they are, but I liked how those World Tournament criteria were split. And I will split them even more, but actually in World Tournament we had like 10 criteria. And it was basically rewatching each combo at least 10 times to just think.
I see.
Like, I was watching this and thinking only about control, then only about refinement, then only about pacing, then only about difficulty, and then I just got sick of this.
Yeah, I kind of did that at the start with this. After it, I had to be a bit more fast. But at the start, I watched each combo first with only for difficulty, then only for execution.
Yeah.
And there was also a problem when judging, and that's that when you watch the slow motion, you see more things that the ones you see in the regular one. For example, there was a problem, like, it happened in both ways. For example, Coffee Lucky's combo from Ricefield, on the regular speed, it had quite sketchy execution. Like, there's a moment where the pen, like, kind of stops, and it looks very bad. However, when you go to the slow motion, it looks fine. You can't find it. And I still don't know why. And then there's the other way around with Choose from FPSBX, I think. Yeah. His combo had flawless execution on the regular speed, except in one moment where he stuttered a bit. And then when you watch the slow motion, there are like two more places where he stops a bit. So I still don't understand this. and I also wonder, should I judge? But the thing is that, should I judge the execution or the difficulty, for example, in normal speed or in slow motion? Because I think that the impression that you have with both of those things are different.
I think you should just look at both of them and take both of them into consideration.
I guess so. That was what I did, actually, because I wasn't sure, so I mixed both.
Yeah, you can watch it also in normal speed, in 0.5 and in 0.25, and you will get different impression each time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk more about how to judge, or if you want to talk more about the combos, the collaborations that were submitted.
Well, actually, I think we might, because, yeah.
Both are fine. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess both are pretty cool. So, actually, I saw your post and I read some of those comments. I gotta finish this someday, maybe. But, yeah, I mean, I focus most on this PPP. And, yeah, it was pretty in-depth, actually.
I think it was an interesting collaboration. I didn't quite like how the edit flowed, but many combos were extremely strong. Your combo was extremely strong, for example.
Thanks.
I mean,
it was pretty much of a lazy combo, I'd say.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think it's very unfair, but when very strong spinners submit a lazy combo, they still get very high scores because the criteria are for that. For example, if you did a combo that was very difficult for you, you would get more difficulty, but I mean, you already got very near to the max amount of difficulty for the like the ranges of difficulty that were set for this round.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like you can't really go up more. But if you did something more difficult, your execution would be worse. Maybe your originality would be better, but maybe your construction would be worse. Your effectiveness would be worse. So maybe in turn you get a lower score, even though it's a more interesting quote unquote combo.
Yeah, like I mean, lazy combo means reusing old stuff, which means less points in originality, but way more in execution.
Yeah, exactly. And not only execution, but since all of those things you have already tried, you know what looks better, you know what doesn't look better, so you know how to build a combo that just flows in a better way. Because I have realized that when building a combo, like for example a freestyle or a very lazy combo, many times it flows better than a very well thought combo because you're just going actually with the flow of the pen. So that translates into the video, and that makes the impression of a well constructed, very effective combo of giving a certain impression.
Yeah, actually it does. Even though it was literally what can I think of in a while. Because I guess that's what round one is meant for, to be deceive, like the stronger spinners will just pass, and to like in round one, I guess nobody should really give 100%, not even 80.
Yeah, I think that round one, since it has all of these very balanced criteria, the strongest spinners just have to give a good impression because they are going to get good scores. Like for example, Don't Wonder didn't even try, and they still got number one. I don't think that their combos were extremely good, but I thought that most of them were just lazy combos with maybe a bit of new material sprinkled all of there. But the thing is that since they are all so experienced, so old spinners and so good at what they do, they just got even like almost perfect scores everywhere. That's not going to happen in further rounds. That was actually my comment for Don't Wonder, that people should be prepared when they face this team, but Don't Wonder shouldn't just get lazy in further rounds, because when you get to the particular themes, the things are going to get more serious, and this is not going to be working.
Yeah, but that's how this works. Like in round one and maybe round two, you're holding back to show something better in round three and finals.
Yeah, and actually the most unexperienced spinners should give all of they can to pass all of these rounds. And I think that even if you lose some execution, if you lose some construction, it's going to show, and judges are going to know that you are putting effort. For example, that was my comment for Ultimate Rookies. You can see that collaboration is full of effort, and they are really, really trying to pass the round. And I think that they are going to be trying very hard for the rounds. And it was the same for FPSVY. That's why I really liked it, because I felt it was a very powerful collaboration. They were really trying to make things, even though later people told me that some of those combos were a bit lazy. I mean, I didn't get that impression. So who knows?
Yeah, but if people are trying too hard, like mostly beginners, because they know they will make it only to round two, maybe three. So they're just going all in the beginning, and that's a problem, because actually if you're experienced and you want to reach finals, you have to distribute this material and hold back in round one. And sometimes if you hold back too much, some beginners who go all in round one can beat you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that
happened with that almost happened with UPSV. They ended up passing, but just barely. Just very, very barely. So, I mean, I don't know. And in the end, you also have to think about what's your objective in this tournament. Is your objective to win the whole thing, or is your objective to do something cool and to show off? So, for example, I think that Ultimate Rookies, they are trying to get the whole tournament, but they are also trying to do something cool. And I think, for example, Haro just didn't care. Like, he did a cool combo that he liked for round one, and people were like, no, but you have to hold back. But should he really? Because I loved it. And I think that what he did was very worth it. And I think that if Haro just loses on round two, it doesn't matter because he did something very worth it, and people are going to remember his combo for the years to come. And most of the other combos are going to be forgotten.
Yeah, true though.
So
I
there's
mean,
a very weird
later
equilibrium that
combos
you
will
have
be
to.
remembered.
Exactly. So I think that many spinners should actually focus more on that, on doing something worth it. And I think that this collaboration round was a very, very good opportunity to do something memorable.
Yeah, true.
And I think that many teams have wasted that opportunity. Not a lot of them. I think that the submissions were excellent most of the time. It felt like a spin fest more than a World Cup, but many teams still have disappointed.
I mean, they will show something better later on.
Yeah, if they passed.
True
that's the
though.
point.
I mean, even though we didn't pass, I will still show what I recorded for round two.
That's really cool, actually. I like
Yeah,
that.
because like I'm making a tag in near future, and I will basically put the stuff I planned to use in World Cup. That's
Yeah,
actually
I
what happened
really like that.
after World Tournament. Like I lost in round one, and I had actually recorded round two and round three. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and round two went for tag with Mashek, and round three went for my solo.
I see. So you went for the Isaac strategy of really recording everything early and
I
just
mean,
going
it was
to the
only 3
tournament.
rounds. It wasn't that close to Isaac, who had like 5 rounds before the tournament started.
That was just crazy. I mean,
Yeah, it was. But actually, I think it's better
yeah, it is.
because you don't get burnt out. And I hate it when I have to just record something in a week and I know I've got a week. And I have to come up with something new every 2 weeks. And sometimes I just need to take a break and just spin something else. Maybe try to focus on something that's not that suited for tournament. Like this more of originality stuff or this my stall combo.
I see.
And if I prepare early enough, I have time for this. Like I can take a week to just spin only just stall combos or spin something that will probably lose on World Tournament, but it's still fun. And then go back.
I also think that when you prepare very early, you have like when you have to submit for anything, be a collaboration or be a tournament, if you have something to back up in case you don't get it, it just feels more relaxed and you enjoy it more.
Yeah, true.
You take out a lot of pressure. So I think that, for example, if I were to participate in a world tournament again, I would like to have some combos in my backup carpet like folder, I would say.
Yeah.
And then just try to record a combo for each round. And if I don't get it, then I just send one of my backups, and then I continue trying to work on that combo for the next round.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if you know, but Isaac round 6 was a backup.
I mean that, but Isaac is just another kind of spinner.
Yeah, but like he sent a backup and still won, but it's just that he didn't get to record what he planned and still had this fairly strong backup.
Yeah, exactly. I read a comment some weeks ago that I really felt it was Isaac is the only spinner that considers penspinning his job.
Yeah, true.
He's so dedicated. I love it.
Yeah. Much respect. Basically, it's crazy like to see all this stuff, and I just can't wait to see his solo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
He's preparing his
so long.
12 year solo, right? I mean,
Yeah,
incredible.
it will be insane. Because like so long preparation and his skill and his creativity, it will just destroy.
Yeah, he even his solo, like his 10-year solo went slightly viral, right? Not very
Yeah.
big, but a bit.
But it was epic.
It was very, very epic. And I don't know. There's one thing that I don't know if I agree with how Isaac thinks, and that's that him, like for example, for world class tournaments, for example, for this World Cup, he judged because he didn't think that people prepared enough to actually be worthy opponents. And I don't know if I can really, I mean, I can get it, but I don't know if I like that mentality. I don't know if I am explaining correctly.
I mean, I don't see this as something like, oh, okay, I'm too strong for you. But I see this as, okay, like he doesn't want to just take a free win. Like if he doesn't have opponents that prepare that as much as he does, then it would be just boring to go there. And it's like if you're an experienced player and you go to a more of beginner tournament, that's just spoiling the fun of people participating there.
Yeah, I want to think that it's something more of that nature and less of.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
have fun fighting for the second round, for the second place, right?
Yeah, like if he joined, it would be boring for him because he would easily win, and for other people because they won't even stand a chance. So he's just letting us have fun.
I want to think that, yeah, exactly. And I think it's really cool that he's being a judge because I think he's a very good judge.
Yeah, he is.
And also very dedicated. He gave quite lengthy comments.
Yeah. And he has experience in judging. He's got this perception. I mean, sometimes he does weird stuff, but sometimes.
Well, everyone does it.
Yeah.
Especially since this judging is individual, and you hear something in the workshop or in Twitter or anything, but it's not like we are just joining in a Skype call and deciding who's passing. So it's not that way. It's just everyone does something and then we compile and send it. That gives more room to actually do weird stuff. If we just talked between each other, I think that weird stuff would happen less. But it would also be more biased.
It would, but I mean, also I think it's nice to have a channel like we had in World Tournaments, this B-side. In A-side, I guess they had it also, but on B-side actually there were discussions like usually everyone judged on their own, but if there was a controversial combo like this FG6 who had like 6 fingers,
I see.
and this Coffee Lucky combo which was pretty weird, I actually asked other judges what they think about this. Because it was so controversial that I didn't want to do some weird stuff, and I'd rather brainstorm only those two combos with others. Not to
Sometimes
make
you have
weird
to
stuff.
develop the criteria in the run. For example, for the Ultimate Rookies, since Haro did a stand-up, I actually had to kind of change the criteria a bit for him. Because, for example, his execution, in the sense of finger placement and everything, wasn't that great. But on the whole, his execution on the combo was very good. Because you have to kind of think about the equivalent of, for example, finger position to a stand-up. So I think that when you get a very weird combo or a very different submission, you have to, discuss something and discuss the different criteria that you're going to use.
Yeah, but I guess those criteria should be the same, and just that stand-up isn't that suited for a tournament.
Maybe, but I like it. I think that stand-up have been quite nice to see lately. I remember at least Haro here, and also Ponkotu on Japan Cup.
Oh yeah.
And Ponkotu's combo was incredible. I think so, at least.
Yeah. Actually, like, they're fun to watch, but more in like collabs or stuff. And on a tournament, you have to punish this.
Yeah, do you think so?
It can be abusable to just submit stand-up and win over technical spinners, which shouldn't really happen. Because the criteria for tournaments are one, and there are some stuff like also MX spinning is in a tournament, it should lose. But for a collab, it's fine.
Yeah, for example, I also talked about MX spinning here in World Cup. Many MX spinners were destroyed in my criteria. For example, Susaki from Germany had very low score, and also the Dr. Grip spinner. I don't remember now. Drake's, yeah, exactly. So both of those combos got very low scores, but on the other hand, JV2 from Fabs got a decent score. It wasn't the highest ever, but it was fine. Because even though his difficulty was very low and his originality was very low, his execution was flawless. And the construction of the combo and actually the effectiveness, the visual appeal of the combo was fine for a very balanced round like this one.
Yeah. Like,
for example, I don't think that.
Then, sure.
The thing with this criteria, especially with the World Cup criteria, is that they are trying to avoid having another Super Wheat versus Kim or Faulty Frank versus Kim or whatever. And then a guy is submitting a very, like, a reasonable combo with an extremely hard mod to spin and then winning because he used an MX or he used anything, right? But if he's doing a reasonable combo and it's giving a nice impression, for example, I think that Is from Jeff, that he doesn't really spin anymore, right? But if Is got into a tournament right now, I think his difficulty would be very low, but his execution would be flawless. And the construction and effectiveness of his combos are very good, especially because with a Dr. Grip, you can do different things that you can not do with a modified pen. So I think that very particular spinners can actually pull it off in very particular rounds. Like, for example, this round 1 or the aesthetic round on later on, and also the tag round later on. But, for example, in difficulty in technical parts, it has no place.
Yeah, but also if you're seeing this MX combo, you have to just think about if it was on a KT or an Amboss, would you give it same score?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I rated difficulty, execution, and originality, and construction. Effectiveness, I didn't, because I think that for effectiveness, since effectiveness, for those who are here and don't know, it's a very abstract criteria. It goes about what people are trying to achieve with that combo that they're doing. So
not only, I think it's more of like how much effect it has and how will you remember this? Is it remarkable to just will you remember this combo? Did it make an impression on you, or is it just one of many?
Yeah, I think
also,
they
like
are
this giving
similar
lasting
definitions.
impression, and will you remember this combo after the tournament will end?
So I think that, for example, for effectiveness, using different colors on a mod, the setup, the execution, everything comes into effectiveness. Because it really captures everything. And I think that only in effectiveness you can really take into account he used an MX. He gave a different impression. And
I think you shouldn't, because
but the visual effect is different.
It is stated in criteria that you shouldn't take a mod in consideration.
But
at least it was in World Tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
here
about
it is.
World Cup.
But the thing is that, for example, it's something similar. I think there was a team. I don't remember the name right now, but he used in this black background setup, he used a red mod, and it was very difficult to see. So I think that actually deducts a bit from effectiveness, because it deducted
More
from how I felt
presentation, I
about the
say.
combo. And it also deducted from presentation, of course. But I think that using an MX or using a Doctor Grip also affects to effectiveness. A bit. Not a lot, but slightly. Yeah, I think it's something that it has to be discussed more. I think it should be taken into account, because if an East combo was done with a KT, it wouldn't give the same impression as it being done with a Doctor Grip.
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, this effective. Okay, yeah, like, because effectiveness is that will you remember this, and
Exactly.
it is maybe more impressive to do hard stuff on MX. So while
And
it shouldn't
hard
get
stuff, but
extra
also,
difficulty, but effectiveness, actually, yeah.
yeah. No, difficulty, absolutely not. Because also there's a problem with difficulty, that you can't really measure the mods that people are using. So an MX could be very cheated, or Isaac Emboss could be hollowed, and it would be very light, right? So
Yeah,
you
true.
can't really tell what weight are they using, what length are they using. So it's not like you can take into account the mod for that. But for effectiveness, I think a bit at least should be taken into account.
Yeah, actually, yeah, for effectiveness, it might.
So, well, just to change topic, what else could we talk about that might be interesting?
Maybe this. Actually, we haven't talked that much about combos, like the actual combos.
Well, I could talk about my favorites, for example.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah. Okay.
liked. It was difficult. Let me go through the submissions. Ricefield had many that I liked. I thought that
Yeah.
many had interesting links. For example, Coffee Lucky surprised me on the slow motion. It had a very high amount of interesting links, which was surprising, because when seeing it in normal speed, you just think, oh, it's just another Coffee Lucky combo. Very laid
Yeah,
back.
it looks like.
Very relaxed. But it actually is quite interesting. And oh yeah, of course, he's an incredible spinner and very creative. And I really want to see what he's bringing for the next rounds.
Yeah, like he can surprise, because you never know what to expect from him.
Yeah, he's something else, really. From plus 62, I liked Cisones very much. It was a very interesting combo, I think. Not the strongest, but definitely the strongest on the team, and quite nice to see. APST had many interesting combos. Dominic was quite nice too. W, I liked ABC a lot. Probably one of my favorite combos from the whole round. It was just a flawless combo in every single aspect. Like the execution was very well cared about. His finger positioning, his hand motions. It was quite original also. Not super easy, not super difficult. Very well constructed. It gave a certain impression. The visual effect of all of that together was very pleasing with good presentation. I think that it might not be the most strong combo we have ever seen in a world tournament, of course not, but it was such a well balanced combo that I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed
I
watching
mean,
it.
I liked Wallace combo better, way better.
Ah, really?
Yeah, like it was so dense, and actually it had very little filler, and this construction, this density, it gave an impression like it was actually planned.
I think that my main complaint I actually gave more difficulty to Walla, but his execution was worse because he didn't put that much care into finger positioning and everything.
Yeah, true though, but like, I mean, yeah, maybe it's because I care more about this difficulty and originality and
Yeah, for
density
example,
and all this stuff.
I give more difficulty to Walla, Sound, and Mond. All of them had more difficulty than ABC, but
Yeah.
still ABC's combo was more balanced.
Okay. And also this shot at Wallace's desk. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't remember right now.
Like he had vodka on desk in the background.
I see.
Pretty fun.
So
Okay.
about the other combos, okay, UPSV. I mean, I liked Padras. I don't know how to pronounce it. I never know
I
how to
don't know
pronounce
as well, man. Like Padres? I don't know.
In Spanish,
Padres,
it
if
would
you're
be
watching this,
Padrase.
send us recording
But
how to tell you how to pronounce your name.
yeah, please give the phonetics down in the comments.
Yeah.
So I thought his combo was interesting, but we know he can give a lot more. And now that he passed, I actually expect a lot more in round 2.
Yeah. He's holding back for sure.
Yeah, a lot. And then Diobrando, I like him and I don't at the same time. Because for
Yeah.
Wiper combos, there's a thing where I really enjoy the aesthetic ones. Like, for example, I really like Fukro, I really like Base. Mind is fine, but I like the more newer Wiper spinners better. So these very technical Wiper combos, they don't really click at all with me. So my advice to Diobrando was to try to make a more standard Wiper combo and put in that combo more technical elements. So don't make just a 100% technical Wiper combo. Make like 50-50 or 30-70. So
For tournament, yes, true. But
yeah.
just apart tournament, I really like it because I mean I like Dio's old stuff from Penspinning Olympics because it's something different from others.
Yeah, it's different, but what I don't like about like my main problem with these very technical Wiper combos is that in more aesthetic ones, the pen seems to be like flying, to be making some very beautiful figures, while in these technical combos, the pen is just hanging out there and it's not really making something.
I mean, yeah.
It doesn't give the same impression. It's very difficult, but the pen doesn't make the same motions and it doesn't give the same impression. So
I mean, my problem with this combo was like recycling because I literally saw a link from 2018 from him in this combo in normal speed.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like, yeah, I saw his old link that he showed me like 2 years ago, and I saw him reusing this, so I was like, I mean, it's cool, but it was cool 2 years ago.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that my main problem with this, apart from just the visual aesthetics, which might not really matter for later rounds if he goes for technical categories, but I think that the whole construction, like a combo that doesn't really give a good impression, is just not very good, not very well made. For example, Sound. He's an incredibly good spinner, but in this combo for this round, he had some quite unsightly changes of direction. So I deducted from construction because I think that's a fail on how you actually build the tricks that you're putting into your combo. And I think the same happens for Diobrando. If you choose a lot of tricks that just make the mod seem like hanging out there, I think that's just building a poor combo. Very difficult one, but for example, look at Isaac, or look at Dark 80, or look at even Padras on World Tournament 19. They are very difficult combos, but they give a very beautiful impression on a particular way, but it's beautiful. It has a characteristic style.
Yeah, it is.
So I think that's what he should aim for. I think that he has the knowledge, and I think he has the skill to do that. So that's why I'm telling him. It's not like he just started spinning yesterday, right?
Yeah. He's so experienced though.
So yeah, then from FPSBX, I liked Choose a lot. I think he has a beautiful style.
I mean, if there is difficulty and creativity in aesthetic, then he will destroy everyone.
Yeah,
he has this aesthetic spin, but at the same time, it's pretty difficult and pretty creative, I'd say.
Yeah, he does non-trivial links.
Yeah, so like considering those criteria, he's broken.
Exactly. I think they will choose wisely the themes for him because it's one of the most strong parts of that team.
Yeah, I might.
Then from FPSBY, I told on my comments like 5TY4.
Yeah,
This
54.
guy does like these really crazy vertical stalls. Nobody seems impressed. I am amazed. I can I can never do that.
I mean, I am
and
as
have
well,
practiced.
but those are not that fitted for those criteria. So besides tournament, yeah, true, his stuff is insane, but if you take into consideration those criteria, then it's not that impressive. And actually, in this FPSB tournament, I gave him pretty high ratings, and he didn't pass the round. I gave him a win.
Mhm.
Because yeah, actually thinking more of this criteria, it's not that well. I mean, it would be really nice in a collab, but not in a World Cup.
But my issue is that, for example, all of these vertical stalls are quite difficult, I think, quite original, because not many people do them. And then effectiveness, it has some, not 100%, but it has some. And my main problem with this is execution, that it usually just destroys the execution of the combo, and construction, because they are very poorly integrated.
Yeah,
For example,
they were actually.
that Menoa does that vertical styles more integrated into the combo.
Yeah, that's true. And
But
I
on
guess better
difficulty,
executed though, with better control.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thing is that many people don't even consider them to be that difficult or to be that impressive, and I am amazed.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
they are.
one thing is if you can't do this, and other thing is if you see people like doing this stalls, like he did it for 10 minutes and he stopped it on purpose. Those.
Yeah.
And if I see him doing this for 10 minutes, then if he does, I mean, he did some harder variations, true, but if he can do this for so long, then if he does it for a few seconds in a combo, it's not that impressive.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless he makes some different variations and some links.
Then
and
for
integrated better.
For the Chinese teams, my main problem with Ninjion, which is why I ranked so low, is that their setups were so sketchy, all of them. It got deducted a lot from presentation, from effectiveness also. They had very high tech, but they just have to present it better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this two-handed guy.
It was nice. I liked it.
I don't remember his name, but he just popped out of nowhere and
Many
went
of
with
these
this.
Chinese spinners, I know nothing about them. They just
Yeah,
popped
same.
out of the void.
And they're pretty cool.
Indeed. And both teams passed, I think, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Not like I'm organizing, but like I don't remember.
So we are going to see more of them. And then All Day I thought it was a better one. It gave a very consistent feeling as a collaboration, and I liked it. Then, well, we already talked about Poland, and then
Yeah.
Fabs. My problem with it was that, I mean, the name is funny and all. It's not the worst. I thought it was funny, but Corinto's finisher, it was very bad taste.
Yeah.
Extremely bad taste. I deducted a lot of atmosphere.
So many people did it before. Like Ian Jensen did it, Vortex did it. And seeing this for like third time is like, man, why?
Yeah, why exactly? Like, you could, but should you? Should you actually do this?
Actually, consider the name. Poland team had the name, but Tidas just deleted this and didn't let us have a name. So yeah, actually, Fabs wasn't that bad.
And then, well, from that team, I really liked, well, many of the combos. JB2 was nice to see. One of my favorite MX spinners on the more technical side. I think he has quite interesting links for an MX, of course. And then Curinto was also quite nice. I think he has to work on execution a bit, but he's very promising. I like it.
Yeah, he is, but like he's pretty old, I guess. I mean, in case of time of spinning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also old, but I'm still a promise in some way.
Yeah, you are, but like
It's the same.
considering Curinto, I don't know if he's promising or if he's just after he. I mean, does he really wants to improve and spin more,
I see.
or is he just spinning anything? I don't
Well,
know.
I think he's more active right now, so maybe he's trying to improve more for this World Cup.
Everyone's more active because freaking lockdown.
Yeah, that's true. Then from the Japanese teams, I really liked Fukuro, and Ennis finisher was very nice.
Laku was OP.
Laku is OP. I saw Isaac heavily criticizing his combo because he said that his pacing was weird and all, and that Laku recycles a lot of links, and that's true. I mean,
Yeah, he did, but also he had some new stuff. It's not like 100% recycled. I haven't seen him doing this pinky back two-handed or something, or pinky best. This, he did some continuous on pinky with two hands.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him doing before, but yeah, I mean, he recycled because it's round one, and I hope he has some new stuff later on.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
And then
I really wanted to battle him in two hands.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
Laku versus yeah, that would be nice.
Oh yeah, that would be epic. Like I really want to see Laku versus Oya in two hands, and I actually wanted to battle either Laku or Oya in this two-hand category because it would be so fun.
It would be
Maybe in Penspinning Olympics if they join.
Well, there's like the Olympics, so that could happen there.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully,
want to see
like
the Olympics like taken more seriously because I thought the ones in 2018, like not many people joined because they really didn't care.
yeah, true though.
I would like to see more people joining these ones.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm
And
actually
then-
joining two fins, so like
Oh, like power and two hands, I guess.
yeah.
I think
And
you're
I hope
pretty
people
strong
will
on
join.
both.
Sorry?
I think that you're pretty strong on both, so I expect you to do fine.
Oh man, yeah, I hope so, and I'm hyped to see like Laku joining or some other guys.
That's the thing that I want is I want to see Japanese guys joining because I think that not many Japanese people joined the Olympics 2 years ago.
Also,
So for
like
example, Ponkotu could join Wipers or
Ponkotu
Fukuro.
could destroy counters.
Yeah, for example, Ponkotu could destroy counters and many other categories. I mean, he has been uploading a lot of clips of Wipers to Twitter, and
Yeah.
C17, he could also be very strong in Wipers. Fukuro could be very strong in Wipers. Like there are all these. For example, I don't know if you know Jiv from Jev also. He has been practicing a lot of two-handed spinning.
Who?
Jiv, Gyv.
Not really.
I don't know if he's new. He has done like 3 collaborations in 2 months or something.
Okay.
And he's very active right now, and he's practicing a lot of two-handed spinning, and he's quite good.
Two-handed spinning is expanding so fast, and actually, I think that both Penspinning Olympics and Isaac 12-year solo will be like 2 milestones for two-handed spinning, and I think that two-handed spinning will expand because of those 2 events.
I hope so,
Isaac will
especially
surely show some stuff in solo, and it will inspire others, and I hope he shows something original in two hands. And also I hope to see in Penspinning Olympics people trying new stuff and expanding this.
Yeah, for the solo for sure. My main worry about the Olympics is actually people joining. I want many people to join that.
I hope they'll join.
I mean, for the last teams, just to finish, from Ultimate Rookies, I liked Haro. The first time I saw that combo, I was like laughing because it was just so funny
Yeah,
to see.
I mean, it was meme. Actually, I'm not sure. Have you seen those memes with this combo?
Yeah. He has been memed so hard by the Koreans and the Japanese.
Yeah, it was so nice.
And then Bexi's combo was also very nice to see. And I was very critical with him, but I liked it. And then in Southeast Wind, I liked Akai, of course. I think Akai was the strongest in the team. He has just this very characteristic, beautiful style, beautiful fingers, beautiful setup.
He has this good quality camera.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so good, but it's not 60 FPS or not giving the impression of these very choppy 60 FPS cameras, right?
Yeah, but
he still
actually,
has
I want to see his Scenic in like a normal camera, and I'm not sure if it will be so impressive then.
Maybe it is.
I guess camera is playing a huge role in his style, and that's why I'm pretty skeptical in considering his combos that good.
Yeah, I mean, camera settings have played a big role in all of this round for many criteria, and I have been
but
very
Akai is like the extreme example.
yeah, in the very, very good camera quality. The problem was mainly with people having a lot of FPS issues, stretching combos. Many collabs were whack precisely because of that, of 25 FPS combos rendering 60 FPS, 60 FPS
Honestly,
rendering 30.
Even in PPP, I'm not sure what happens to Banan's combo.
I don't know. I think I said it, right? Yeah, I put it in my comments.
Yeah, like you said something. Like I felt like I saw the original one. It was nice. And when I saw it in the collab, I thought that it's just an intro with slow-mo and then he will play it once again normally.
Yeah, that kind of slow motion is usually because you render 25 FPS in 30 FPS, but maybe
okay.
this. And there was also with one of the Chinese teams with Ninjion, many of the black background, apart from not very clear, they had choppy moments, and I remember Kofilaki asking for the original videos because he suspected cheating. I think it was fine in the end, but they had like 3 or 4 really choppy moments on their combos.
Yeah. It's hard to detect cheating if it's well masked.
Exactly, especially with all of these black background.
Yeah, but also sometimes it looks like cheating, but it actually doesn't. But it's because of bad rendering or something. Like I saw the original Banan combo and it was the same. Also, this Chinese
it
guys,
wasn't
I don't
slowed
think they
down or
cheated.
anything, right?
Yeah, but it looked suspicious.
Well, Banan isn't really suspicious, just kind of weird.
Yeah, it is, but actually those Chinese guys were like,
Yeah,
I don't think they cheated, but it just doesn't look good and
Yeah.
it gives bad impression.
Well, I don't know how long the podcast is been already. Just tell me.
Like over an hour.
So if you want to close now, or you want to take like another topic, a short one to finish, to give like a good conclusion to the podcast.
Maybe like, okay, just think about something.
Maybe like we already talked about the Olympics, so maybe, we already talked about what we expect from further rounds. So
Okay, just like, what message would you leave for all those participants? Like, you're a judge, so what message would you leave for them if they were to join this next tournaments?
Well, I think that just trying your best is the best that you can do. Watch a lot of pen spinning. See, for example, read the comments of the judges on other combos that you like or that you don't like, so that your own judgment gets better. And just grow as a spinner and don't only focus on one category. Don't be only like difficulty, technical
Yeah.
combos. Like try to expand a bit, try to do something different just to learn something, even if it's not really your style. Like if you're an MX spinner, try to do some power tricks just to try. If you do some power tricks, try to spin some MX just to try. You're going to
Yeah,
learn a
yeah.
lot of things, and by expanding, you're going to get more experience, and you notice how experienced spinners get more higher scores in world tournaments. So just getting experience in general is going to make you do better in these tournaments. And in the end, have fun. Like don't obsess too much. Take your time. If you have been spinning for 2 or 3 years, you're probably not going to win the whole thing. So just have fun, try
Yeah,
your
for
best,
sure.
and don't obsess too much about trying to get to a certain point. Just do what you can and have some fun. Let it be memorable and don't burn out, which is very common here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so thanks a lot for coming here.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.